Hi,
Hey everybody, I'm Ed.
and I'm Barb, and
And
we're
we're
the
the
Streeters.
Streeters.
Welcome to the ARTyRV channel. Tonight is Monday night, and we're doing a live Q&A where we attempt to answer your stained glass questions.
That's right, Barb. And tonight is a good night. It's a beautiful evening outside. I want to welcome everybody to the channel, and we can go ahead and get started with some questions right away, Barb. I had just grabbed one, and the question was, when do you use lead for a window? Well, really, you use lead for a window if that's how you feel and you feel like using lead on that particular window. Typically, the larger the window is, the probably you would want to use lead caming to actually build the window. But copper foil is pretty strong, up to about, I don't know, maybe 3 foot by 3 foot, maybe 9 square feet. Sounds pretty good with copper foil. So you can use lead. I use lead on small things, cabinet doors. I use lead on big things, church windows. So it just depends on your application and how you feel and what your customer would like, I think. What do you think, Bar?
Well, I typically in our studio we build all of our panels out of lead, and but if you're building out of copper foil, and you feel comfortable building larger windows from copper foil, go right ahead and just be aware of the structural limitations that you
Sure.
might have. And
Yeah.
go from there.
Yeah, you may run into some structural limitations, but other than that, you'll be pretty much okay with it, I believe.
Yeah, Amber, thank you. Yes, we do. We have over 2,000 subscribers, so thank everyone.
Appreciate it. We
got that
made
this
it
week. We
to
made
2,000
it.
anyway.
It was a struggle to get to 1,000, but 2,000 it seemed to came a little bit quicker. So we're really happy to have 2,000 subscribers and welcome everyone.
Yeah, welcome all 2,000 of you. Thanks again for subscribing to the ARTyRV channel.
So, Ed, I had a question last week, and it came up. When did you first begin doing stained glass? Have you shared that with them? Your first experience and
I have not. I first started doing stained glass in,
how old were you?
I guess it was 1979.
That doesn't tell them anything. 19?
He was 19. I was 19 at the time and working for a commercial glass company, and actually wintered over when we didn't have a lot of work that winter because the boss's wife found out that I could draw.
Oh, okay.
And that worked me into helping her over the winter with stained glass projects, because the stained glass was too good for the other guys to worry about. They were more concerned with high rises or being laid off because there wasn't anything to do. So I went to work in the stained glass department, really enjoyed it, learned a lot, and learned actually how to hand bevel glass a very long time ago. And at that time, I was probably, besides my boss, we were the only two people that we knew of that were doing it.
So Eddie started doing stained glass when he was 19 years old. And I met Eddie when he was 24. We got married about a year after that, and we started our stained glass shop when he was, I guess you were 25.
25, yeah.
Started on the back porch of our home. And then the following year, we opened a little store on Main Street in downtown Conway. So moved pretty quick. And so we've been in business, all those years.
Yeah, since 1980.
We were first married, the first year we were married.
Late 85, early 86.
So I had that question. I thought we'd just share that.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We're still doing it, and we're still enjoying what we do for a living.
Yeah.
And now we've changed our whole thing, and now we're enjoying helping other people enjoy this wonderful craft we call glass.
We've had one-on-one classes throughout the years. When we first started out, Ed taught some classes, not a whole lot. Then we brought a teacher in. We were too busy to teach classes. We brought a teacher in. He taught a while. It kind of grew our stained glass retail business. And then when the internet came along, that kind of killed the retail business. And we kind of went another direction and started building studio, more commission work, and kind of got out of the retail business because we could not compete with the internet.
No,
so we've come full circle.
Yeah, we started, once the internet came along, and we basically lost our retail business with stained glass. We actually started building and installing stained glass windows in churches all over the Southeast. So.
Okay, so enough about us. We're losing.
Yeah, that's
we're
enough
losing
of
viewers.
that. Yeah, I'm sorry. So, hey, who's got a good question tonight?
Yeah,
I will tell you this. If you remember last week, we were talking about glue chipping. So,
oh, yeah. We're excited. We haven't got the materials.
Let's talk a little bit about chipping glass, okay? So, what Barbara and I have done is, first of all, I'm going to show you one of the colors that we're going to be sandblasting tomorrow here at the shop. Okay,
and
so
we're working on a video for this.
And we're working on a video to get you to learn how to glue chip your own glass. Okay, so this is one of our colors. You got another beautiful turquoisey, watery color. Now these colors that we're using, Barbara and I have decided that we're going to chip this glass, and we're going to put these colors in a border on a small window that we're going to fabricate. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we've got these two colors. Also, we're using a peacock blue.
It's a little bit darker. You can't see.
Can't really see it on here, and you really can't see this. But if I show it to you sideways,
you can't see.
I don't think you can see it either. But yeah. This, y'all, is a piece of flashed red glass. Okay, it's flashed glass. And this is going to be the four corners.
It's red.
It's red. It's red.
It's red and clear.
It's a cherry red on clear. And, just a little bit of information for those of you that don't know this about flashed glass. You only score flashed glass on the clear side, okay? If you try and score it on the colored side, or like this glass on the red side, good luck, my friend. It just doesn't work. So just a little tidbit of information. If you run into a piece of flashed glass, and the way you can tell is when you look at it sideways, it looks like the edge of window glass because your color is only on one side of the glass. And that means this started out as a piece of mouth-blown glass with clear glass. And then they covered it in red, and then they made the vessel, and then they made the sheet, making the red glass only on one side. When we blow glass, if we had a way to make sheet glass, we make flashed glass all the time. We make flashed vases. When you cut the tops of them off, you can see every color like a ring in a tree. Anyway, these are our colors that we're going to be sandblasting and glue chipping. So when we're coming up with just a little recipe for you on how to do this and what you need to do in order to have glue chipping success. First of all, you want to order your glue chip crystals, right, Barn? Your animal hide crystals.
Yeah, we'll have those. We'll have that on the website.
And we'll have them on the website.
I had a question. Where do you get the flash glass?
You can purchase it.
Yeah, your
stained glass supplier.
I would doubt your local supplier may not have it.
They may have to order it for you.
It's a little bit thicker than your regular glass. It's going to be a little bit thicker.
It's a little bit thicker than 1/8 of an inch. It's more like could be as thick as 5/32, but it could be as thin as 3/32, which is about the size of window pane glass. Okay. So it just depends on what you get.
So would Sunshine have that? Sunshine Glass Works?
Sunshine, yeah. Scott and Sean, they have the flashed glass.
I'll contact them for that. Yeah, you don't need that much of it to really make an impact. And then if you have a way to sandblast some designs in it, very nice.
So what you do with flashed glass is, and thanks for the question, because what you do with flashed glass is you actually mat it, and then you sandblast the red glass away, down to the clear, and you separate it with matting. So you have this almost like, I would say, by using the red flash glass, you're going to have almost like a bohemian glass effect, because if we have a pretty good collection of bohemian glass. So
where is that?
That's those decanters.
Yeah.
So those are ground.
Where are they?
They're in the kitchen on the top shelf.
Okay.
So, but we have some decanters that are red flashed glass, and then they're ground. So they ground the red away. So it's red and green. It's bohemian glass.
You've seen it.
You've seen bohemian glass before. So. But anyway, flash glass, some of your suppliers may have it. I have several sheets of cobalt blue on clear.
Oh, we need some of that out too.
And we'll be using that in our restoration house.
Yeah, we will.
We'll be using that cobalt blue glass in our restoration house. The nice thing about
that flash glass on clear is when you take out that red or that blue, that glass, just where that design is, it just glows. I mean, the light just comes through that and just that, and then with the red glass around it.
Well, in the
really
past,
stunning.
In the past, Barb, we've taken that cobalt blue flash glass and we put it in church windows, but we've sandblasted little stars on top of that blue glass.
Oh, yeah.
And those windows light up just like it's nighttime, y'all. It's insane how beautiful they really turned out, isn't it?
Yeah, they are. That's right. It
was a great idea. We weren't sure if it was going to work.
That's right. I forgot about that job. Yeah.
So we just did like what you would like a blast a star, like
starburst.
A starburst,
like in each.
Yeah, it's like maybe
throughout
4
the window.
6 lines. But sandblasted, when you get rid of that blue, oh my gosh, it was just awesome.
It's like a star.
Yeah.
Ooh. Renee has an older faceting machine for making faceted stones for jewelry with flat grinding laps. Could these be used to make my own bevels, and what type of glass would I use? Possibly.
Well, flat lap wheels are used for beveling straight lines only. Okay.
So she's talking about that.
Yeah. So flat lap wheels are used for beveling straight lines. Horizontal flat wheels. Vertical round wheels are used for beveling inside curves and outside curves. Okay. But your flat wheels your horizontal wheels are used for flat beveling.
So she wants to know, can these be used for bevels? And
I don't know.
I think you can do that. You need a series of wheels, and that would be for polishing stones, would be the same as for glass.
Do the same thing, because you're using what's called a pumice, and pumice is a volcanic ash that's taken out of the ground. Yeah.
If you send us a picture, we can tell you.
Yeah, send us a picture of your lap machine.
And the question, what type of glass you would use, would be 1/4 inch
plate
glass.
Yeah.
Plate glass. That's what you would use.
And most of you would use either 1/4 or 3/16, because most of your bevels, your stock bevels that you purchase from your glass supplier, are going to be on 3/16 glass. So
I just don't know how big that machine is, because the wheels that we used for grinding bevels.
Well, our flat wheels were 24 inches. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, about 16.
Yeah.
And then our horizontal or our vertical wheels were 8-inch diameter diamond. If you look up Covington beveling equipment online, it'll kind of show you the idea, because they were diamond impregnated wheels that were vertical, and your lap machine was a steel wheel that we use carborundum or carbide grit. But you may have magnetic pads that switch in and out off of your wheels, which is great, because it's the same horizontal wheel that we use to grind our blown glass, with a magnetic 60 grit pad on it. So
so possibly.
The answer is possibly.
And 1/4 inch plate glass is what you would use. Um,
And you'll find it's really amazing because after a day's work on that, you're really going to see something, and you're gonna understand the whole process of beveling
working
glass.
the bubble.
Working the bubble, yeah, because
So you
that's
work the
exactly what
bubble.
you do. Is you work on a bubble with light above your head on a bubble, and you're working on the water bubble that's below the glass.
So you're keeping that bubble
Centered
and the same size, because that tells you where you are.
tells you your width of your bevel and your angle. Typically, it's a half
That's
inch
all I know.
with 15
No,
degree with a 15 degree bevel.
I've done it before. It's hard on your hands, so
But it's very
It's exciting.
it's exciting and definitely rewarding.
Yes, it is.
Definitely rewarding.
I had a question, and you guys know this, probably you guys do, but this individual was teaching themselves how to do lead, and they may be watching tonight, so I want to answer the question.
Sure.
I didn't have a chance to answer it. Do you solder it one side of the panel and then putty it and turn it over and then because it's so flimsy when it's not puttied?
Here's the thing. They absolutely no. So what you're going to do is you're going to solder that window. And I'm going to tell you, let me tell you the best way to flip it over. And I wish I had a window that I could flip for you. But your window's laying on your table. You pull your window out.
Come with that piece of glass, right?
Halfway, okay? And I don't know if y'all can see this or not, but let me scoot back here. So what you're going to do is you're going to scoot your window out halfway off the table. Put your hands all the way underneath of the window and pick up. Don't stop. Don't lollygag. Don't go, ooh, that didn't sound right.
Ooh.
Yeah, forget it. Forget about all that.
Behave.
Get up. Get it vertical, okay? Take a breath. Pick it up. Turn it around so that half of it, when you fold it over, is laying on the table. If you get your hands stuck under the window when you're flipping it over, you just asked for a bunch of broken glass. So what you have to do is you have to let it down with your hands on it, let it down, and push it back up on the table that fast. Don't let it down fast enough to break it. Let it down fast enough to the table and push it right back on the table.
Now, the window that you're working on right now, this particular window that I filmed the other day, you soldered one. Have you soldered the other side yet?
I have. Yeah.
Okay. All right. But we will show you that in a future video.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's really these small windows that we're working on that are only 7-8 square feet of for Brookgreen here each. These windows are relatively easy to flip over. We will be showing you how to flip over some church windows that are 3 foot by they're 32 and a half wide and 72 and a half tall. And I'll show you how to flip one of those by yourself, turn it around, and lay it back down and finish soldering the other side.
By yourself?
Sure.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to do it.
If you're Eddie, you could do it by yourself.
But what you have to have, though, and I know that when you go to flip a window over, it is
scary.
it's rattling and your lead, But you know what? It is scary. So what you do is you just put that aside and pick that window up, get it vertical, turn it around, and lay it back down and go on and finish soldering it so that you can get it puttied. Each time you do something further along in the finishing process, that window is going to get more and more rigid. And before you know it, you won't be afraid of it.
So the answer to that question is you solder it, turn it over, solder it, then putty it.
Yeah. And then turn it over and putty it. And then you clean it really good and then put it in the light and let it dry. Use our putty recipe that's on our website. that's a free download. So you can use that if you like. That putty recipe we've been using since we've been in business.
So that was the second question. How long should they let the putty sit on the window before cleaning it?
Well, we used to have employees that would call it cooking. What are you doing? I'm letting the window cook. The stained glass windows, y'all, they don't need to cook. Once you apply the putty glazing, that is our recipe. Once you apply that putty glazing and you remove as much excess as you can with your putty brush, your putty apply brush, then what you're going to do is let it sit for maybe a half hour at the most. That's it, half hour. Let some of the lacquer thinner evaporate, and then come back and cut the edges in with your dowel, and then polish it with your acid brush. Flip it over, do the same thing, and you should be able to putty about an 8 square foot window in about 2.5 hours completely, including polishing it.
Yeah, and so then you'll polish it out. Now, when you come in the next day, you're probably going to have to polish it
and flip it over
and clean it again. So you'll do that.
Yeah, because what happens is the first time you're going to push the glass all the way to one side, and then when you clean it, then you're going to flip it over, and then when you putty the other side, now you're going to center the glass. Okay, so there's a little bit of glazing's going to ooze out on the other side, but after you do that, that's it. It's done. Just get it cleaned up, clean it the best you can, let the putty set up, and then make sure you clean it again before you install it. Right.
That's right.
So these windows for Brookgreen, all 12 of these windows are going to be in their own little window within the gallery here, and they're going to all get cleaned one day at a time until we get ready to install it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so it's awesome, and I sure hope that helps you. But here's the thing about if you solder it and putty it on one side before you do anything to the other side, the putty's going to dirty up your lead on the other side. And now you got to clean every joint. It's like you'll hate yourself. I promise. Well, you won't ever do it again. You won't ever. But don't do it. Yeah, please. Just don't do it. And you'll find that you'll have a lot more fun working with stained glass.
I just wanted to remind everyone that Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, there'll be a new video. Ed will be soldering in the video. He'll be soldering lead. We'll also have a short video about
cutting glass on the light box.
And also photography. Just a short little photo tips thing. So we're trying to, I don't know if that'll be all one video, but it'll be our Wednesday night behind the scenes. This is what we're doing in the studio and everything that's going on.
Yeah, so it'll be awesome. Like you can see this right here. This is one of Brookgreen's window that's behind us. This is actually one of the bottom sections. This is window number B. And window number A is over there. B. C's down the hall in the other window. D's in the stained glass room. So they're everywhere.
So let's have some questions. We're ready. We're ready to answer questions. Do you have any from this week that we haven't answered yet?
Well, I had one that was, and it's a good question too, and I appreciate it. Do you always have to patina your copper foil work? And the answer to that is no. What I found is that the black patina will hide a multitude of sins. The copper patina is too pink for my liking. And if you decide not to patina the solder at all, just go through the same cleaning process, which is glass cleaner, steel wool, and wax. You don't have to patina it, but you must clean it first, steel wool it, and then you would patina it after you steel wooled it. However, if you're not going to patina your work, there's nothing that says that you have to.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing that says you have to. But do make sure you clean the solder correctly and thoroughly before you wax it to keep your solder from oxidizing.
And that really
good question.
That really is key. Clean it and wax it.
Yeah. That's the whole key to everything is just clean it. And then I had one more, Barb, and I don't know if you saw this one or not. It just kind of caught my eye because I haven't seen one in a long time. And it's just a simple question. A viewer wanted to know if they could build a lamp out of lead cane. And the answer to that is yeah, because lead cane lamps were real popular back in the 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, they were real popular. And I believe that there are still, that's a good question, but I believe that there are still patterns out there for lead cane lamps. They're very simple. Funny, oddly enough, because, you know, we all strive to keep the edges of our lead perfectly at 90 degrees. Well, when you're building a lead lamp, because you have to fold it, you want your top piece of lead to be longer than the bottom of the lead. So you're cutting everything at angles so that it's tight on the bottom and tight on the top. But they have patterns for those lead lamps. And, you know, if you want to build a lead lamp, go right ahead, man. Just make sure that you stretch your lead first because you don't need it stretching above your dining room table.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was a good question, though. I haven't seen a lead lamp in a long time.
I haven't either. And I haven't seen, I can't think of any designs, any new designs that I've seen that really, you know, make me want to make a lead lamp.
Well, I haven't seen any new designs that make me even want to make a lamp anymore. I mean, they
stained glass lamp.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, a copper foil. I can see the possibilities.
Yeah.
Lead is kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, I might be wrong. I have seen some terrarium type box type things made with lead that are quite attractive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
And it's just a matter of having the pattern, you know, to be able to do what you want.
Yeah. Make the pattern.
Yeah.
Experiment.
Yeah, you can make the pattern. But copper foil is still the best way, I think, to build a lamp.
Yep. Yep.
So don't forget, we're going to be filming the process of glue chipping as we go along this week. Our glue chip crystal should be here tomorrow, which will be Tuesday. And
but that'll be next week's video. That won't be this week.
Oh, absolutely not, because I'm really busy this week. I've got two windows.
I've got two projects I have to finish by the 15th.
Yeah.
I finished one this week, and I have two more I have to finish by the 15th. So when I get those done, I'll be.
Oh, we'll be rocking, and we're just,
you know,
we're just moving right along, and we're loving it, and we've got plenty of work to do. The birds are coming along fine. We'll
update you on that.
We'll update you on that.
The Wednesday show. We'll kind of be a conglomeration of what's going on.
Yeah, so just tune in, and it'll be an update show. Basically, it'll be behind the scenes in the glass studio. That's exactly what it'll be.
And we'll have a little teaching going on. Ed's going to demonstrate soldering lead and talking to you a little bit about that, and cutting on the light box, and a little bit of painting. And
a little bit of painting, a little bit of scratching, a little bit of painting and blending and feathering. So I mean, it's like we do have a lot going on, and I know in your world you have a lot going on, and Barb and I, we appreciate you tuning in.
We do.
And just saying hi to us, you know, this week. Mm-hmm. We look forward to talking to everybody. We look forward to teaching everybody how to do the glue chip process.
We thought the glue chip would be here today, but we forgot today's Memorial Day. I don't think the mail ran.
No,
today.
It's a Labor Day, but it's the same difference.
Labor Day. See, I don't even know what day it is.
I know. At least we're not in a cow field with a hurricane.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's Labor Day, y'all.
It's Labor Day, y'all, and I hope everyone had a good Labor Day, and maybe, you know, just maybe you would have been able to get together with some family, maybe not all your family, but some family. You know, just the other day, South Carolina was number one in the nation for COVID cases. Is that sickening or what? I'm sorry to bring that up, y'all, but for the first time in a long time, South Carolina was number one in something, and it had to be that. Get out of here. Anyway, that's enough of that. Just thought I'd tell you.
Let's forget about it.
Yeah. So anyway,
forget about it.
We're behind the locked doors. We're good.
We're good. Yeah.
But it is making it kind of rough on our community.
Thank goodness we have you guys to talk to.
Yeah. Yeah, if we didn't have you guys to talk to, I don't know what we would do. So, and y'all can really ask us anything. If there's a project that you're working on and you're having a little bit of problem with it, we'll be happy to help you.
Mhm.
And, in any way, shape, or form that we possibly can. And,
I need some water.
okay.
I was given a roll of I don't know what that is. I think that might be a typo. What does that say?
I was given a roll of
Diver
divers.
stopper foil. I think that's a typo. What does that mean?
Yeah, take a picture of it for us. Let us see it. Does it look like the regular copper foil tape?
Is it scalloped? Silvered foil.
Oh,
Okay.
silver foil. Use that
That's
on
what I-
mirrors.
Yes.
You can use it on clear glass, on clear textured glass. But most of the time it's used on mirrors.
And it may be used for when you're using silver
Silver,
solder for jewelry.
that could be, yeah.
You want that silvery look if you're using clear for jewelry.
Could be because some people use iridescent glass for jewelry, and they do use the silverback tape.
Yeah, so it would be for something that you would silver for silver jewelry findings.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with using it even on opaque glass. It doesn't matter.
I would save it for when you really need it because it probably is kind of pricey. I wouldn't just use it for anything.
Yeah. And if somebody gave it to you, then that's great. Thank you.
Silvered foil.
Silvered foil. Yeah. It's probably silver foil, outside and inside, underneath.
Right.
Yeah.
It's silver on the outside and the inside.
Yeah. So you would use that. That's your jewelry foil for your silver solder.
So when you're making little earrings and bracelets,
Yeah, this little lightweight stuff. Anything
things.
that your hands, that's going to come into contact with your hands or your face or your body, your earlobes. I don't recommend you make jewelry out of.
How do you make your solder super shiny? That would be with wax. Now, if you see that super, super shiny, maybe in the gift shops and you're wondering what that is, that's actually coated.
Yeah, it's lacquer coated.
It's lacquer coated.
That's why you don't see anything coming from overseas that oxidizes, is because they lacquer it.
So you could lacquer it. I'm not sure of that
What
process.
a pain. Yeah.
But you could look it up and lacquer it. But that is a lacquer. It's not a normal process, that
or
the
you
studio
can use the
uses.
silver solder, which is really expensive and a much higher temperature to work
And
with.
they wouldn't be using that for the price that they're charging.
No, not
I
the
mean,
price
is
they're
that
charging.
where you're seeing it in the gift shops? The super shiny. And maybe there's something out there I don't know about, but let me know. That was a question from Joey. Yeah. Can you go through the different widths of copper foil and the reason to use one or another?
Let me make a list. 3/16,
Quarter inch.
7/32,
Oh, I'm sorry.
quarter inch, 5/16, 3/8, half, and scallop.
Scalloped.
Okay, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different sizes of copper foil that I'm aware of. And again, this is just me. And then the scalloped edge foil. Or it kind of, then they make another decorative foil that kind of looks like you took pinking shears to it. We used to use that on jewelry boxes all the time.
Yeah, different things, different.
But 3/16
kind of thing.
Foil is for when you're really, really, really good at cutting your glass.
Or very, very thin glass,
Or
like
very-
when you're doing
using a lot of antique glasses
what
because
do you
they're
call
thin.
it?
And when you're doing jewels or nuggets.
Okay, I can't think of what I'm.
But then the 7/32 is the most common because most of your glasses are going to be just a little bit less than 1/8 of an inch thick. 1/4 inch is if you have an unlimited budget to buy copper foil. To buy solder. Or if you're using thicker textured glasses. Textured glasses are going to require larger copper foil. 5/16 foil, you're probably not going to use it at all. 3/8 foil, you can use it if you're going to sandwich, excuse me, if you're going to sandwich dried flowers between 2 pieces of glass, you're going to want to use 3/8 foil because you're going to use a piece of 1/8 inch glass, your flowers, and another piece of 1/8 inch glass, and then you're going to want it to bite around it. So your 3/8 glass, your 3/8 copper foil is what you're going to use to sandwich those 2 pieces together for the top of that jewelry box. And still make it look nice so that you don't have a great big wide solder joint, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So those copper foils are used for many different things. It depends on what you're doing and which foil that you're going to use for that project.
How thick your glass is and what you're making with it.
Yeah.
Because you're not just making panels.
Right. You could be making a jewelry box. You could be making
a panel with something sandwiched between 2 pieces of
flowers as the centerpiece for the window.
Or 2 pieces of
lots of things
together. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good question. And that's the reason they make several different size copper foils. And again, y'all keep in mind everything that we say, this is how we work. Okay. It's not etched in stone, but this is 37 years of how we work and how we've done things in the past and how we continue to do them now that it's the future.
We can always change if we find a better way.
Yeah, if we find a better way, let us know.
Okay. So, Joey, maybe you can get spray lacquer. Just depending on what you're doing. Think about it. Okay. You got your sun catchers. You made them all. Can you spray lacquer?
Clear lacquer. You can.
Clear lacquer.
You can get clear lacquer at the hardware store.
Can you clear lacquer everything? Let it sit. I don't know. Experiment.
I don't know if you want to clear lacquer the glass itself.
I'm not sure how that's done, but I would experiment and maybe do some research. I'm going to research it because it's I'm interested in that. Joey also asked. He said that there were some seashells in the sun catchers. Do you wrap those the same way you do the glass?
Yep, except you don't have to grind it, but you do, Joey. You do need to clean those shells really good and make sure that you get any type of dust off of them, because keep in mind, seashells are pure calcium. So when you're soldering it, don't spend a lot of time on it either, because you can actually melt that shell. And geodes are good to put inside of stained glass windows too. But shells, I think, are even prettier. And if you got somebody that's got a water jet and you can slice up those conch shells and put, cutaways in the windows of conch shells, that'd be awesome.
Okay, Patsy says if someone has 2 pieces of glass with an announcement.
Absolutely. Get you some 3/8 copper foil.
Or she was saying, can you use wide channel U-cane for the outside? You could use U-cane, or you could use.
You're better off. Okay. You're better off because you don't want dampness to get in there. You're better off to seal it with the copper foil. because
So
if you
use
just
the
stick to two
3/8
pieces,
foil.
yeah, use the 3/8 foil, because if you're just gonna stick two pieces of lead together, and two pieces of glass, and put them inside a lead channel,
They're going to be kind of.
you can't putty it. It's going to rattle. They're always going to be loose, and they're going to get moisture in them. So yeah, you definitely want to use copper foil for that process, especially if it's a good friend's wedding announcement. If it's not a good friend, you can put it in anything you want.
Oh, Ed.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know what he thinks.
Use copper foil to keep the moisture and to keep your friends happy. And to keep their wedding announcement safe.
Yeah, we used to make gift boxes.
With the wedding announcement in the center, in the bottom when you opened it up.
Yeah, when you opened it up, it had the little.
The wedding announcement was in the bottom.
And we made them with that wedding announcement
in the lid.
top,
Yeah, when you open the lid, it was up. So, and keep in mind now, if you're going to be doing these in boxes and you're going to be using mirror in the box anywhere, before you copper foil the mirror, you want to clean the mirror really good and paint the edges with clear fingernail polish. The back edge of the mirror needs to be cut with or sealed with clear fingernail polish, and then you can foil it.
All right. That was nice. That was a good question. That brought back a lot of good memories. We used to make those boxes for
a lot of people.
Wedding gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah. For a lot of people.
Yeah.
Why are we getting telephone calls on a holiday?
At night.
At night.
I don't know.
We got a bite. Hi, Jane.
Hey guys, how are you?
Noah.
It's good to see y'all tonight.
Noah has a question. Well, let me get Patsy's question was first.
Okay.
So do you use the copper foil like it is, or do you solder over it? Yeah, you solder over it.
Yeah, you can solder over it.
For the announcement, or you could just
once you seal those two pieces of glass together, then you can put it inside the lid.
You could put it inside the lid after.
Yeah, you just put it inside the lid, but you definitely want to. I would say go ahead and solder it, but you're going to have to make sure that the glass is super duper clean, and go ahead and foil it though with the 3/8 foil.
Okay, Noah has a question. He has done only copper foil, and now he wants to try leaded windows. He's afraid of the toxicity.
Spell that 3 times.
And what precautions do you recommend? Wash your hands.
Okay, here's what we do, Noah. The first thing you want to do is, if you have any cuts on your hands or anything, cover them with Band-Aids. The second thing you want to do is, of course, don't smoke, drink, or eat while you're leading your windows. As soon as you're completed with your leading process for the day, cover your window up and go wash your hands thoroughly. Change the Band-Aids that are on your fingers into new Band-Aids, and then wash your hands one more time before you eat, and you should be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
when
you're sweeping,
wear a dust mask.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of dust that comes from the lead, Noah, because you're cutting it with our beautiful lead nippers that we have on our website.
But if you're using a bandsaw,
you're going to get a little bit of dust if you're using a bandsaw.
Definitely a face mask.
Yeah, so use a dust mask if you're going to be cutting your lead on a bandsaw. But the main thing is sweeping.
You can.
Yeah, if you want to wear gloves, that's all right, but you can't feel what you're doing, and I promise you, your gloves are going to get in the way.
Cleanliness.
Yeah, it's all about, even before you use the restroom, you're going to wash your hands prior to and thereafter. So when you go into the biological room, you want to make sure that you wash prior and after.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I don't. I lead all day, and I mean my hands are dirty, but they're not like filthy. You know? Are they?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, and the one thing you want to remember, Noah, is just don't eat it and don't let the dogs eat it. That's all.
That's it? That's all you got?
That's all I got. Really, it's cleanliness is next to godliness. Just don't worry about it. As long as you keep washed up and clean, you'll be fine with the lead. Okay.
Yep.
And work in a ventilated area. You know, if that stuff, Noah, if that stuff really is, weighing on you pretty heavy, just work in a ventilated area. Put a small fan on you, blowing around.
And when you go for your physical every year,
just ask them
to do you
a lead test.
So.
Yeah, we used to require our employees that worked in the stained glass department to take a lead test each year when they got their physicals.
Never had a problem.
We never had a problem. And y'all, we do lots of stained glass windows. Or we used to. Now we do all that Barbara and I can do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. So, do we have any more questions?
That's going to be fun. I got the compressor ready to bring into the shop tomorrow so we can get these beautiful colors of glass sandblasted. And then we'll decide tomorrow what we're going to do in the red flash glass for the corners.
Okay, so we're going to sandblast the glass
tomorrow.
Okay, and so then we're going to cook the glue.
Well, we're going to show them how to frame up the glass to keep the glue from running over.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have to run a clear bead of silicone around the outside edge of the glass between the glass and the wood.
Okay.
To make a dam.
Okay.
And then we'll be cooking the glue, which is 3.5 ounces of water to 1.5 ounces of glue. And that's all we need for a square foot of glass. Can you believe that?
Oh, yeah, that's right. It takes very little.
Square foot of glass only requires a 1/16 of an inch depth across the surface. Now, when this stuff dries and it starts checking or popping, you want to wear safety glasses because this glass could pop up to 24 hours.
So we're excited about
it's going to be awesome.
When we were downtown, 30 some years ago, we used to make this in the back of the alley, back alley. Ed you had a pretty cool job. What did you have to glue chip it, like really big glue chip?
We were we were glue chipping on 3/8 glass, and then we beveled it for Hamburger Joe's. Oh my gosh. Remember they got broke into and they beat out the front door.
Old antique door.
With 3/8 beveled glass in it.
But it was glue chipped.
It was glue chipped.
And it was thick. And how did you glue chip it? Just the same way you normally do?
Yeah.
Okay. What was that?
Then we had to hand bevel it.
Okay. What was that?
Oh, and then some of it was crackled.
Okay. That's
what
you did in the kiln.
Yeah.
That was scary.
Hold the lid, spray the glass with water.
Hold the lid open.
And keep the glass from breaking.
And close
to
the
crack
lid.
The surface.
And it worked.
And it worked.
That was a crazy one.
It worked. That was 30 years ago.
Okay. What are the first tools that he's going to need to add to his toolbox for lead? Noah wants to know.
All right. The number one tool you're going to add to your toolbox is a pair of really good lead nippers. And Noah, if you'll go to our website, they're right there on our website on the ARTyRV page. Those lead nippers are right there on the website. And if you want to check with Amber up in South Dakota, she's on the page. She has a pair of them and she uses them all the time. And she loves them. So she can vouch for it. I don't have to vouch for her, for them. She can tell you all about them. So, but yeah, go to our website. And that's really for doing lead. You're going to need a lead stretcher. Don't have to buy it right away. But you definitely are going to need some sort of a vise to put one end of the lead in so that you can stretch it and you can use your grousing pliers to stretch the lead, it's okay. A lead stretcher is going to run you about $129, and
A vice is
a
like
lead vise is about
$5.
$3.
Yeah.
Yeah, about $3. So you definitely need a lead vise, some lead nippers, and
Thank you, Amber.
appreciate it, Amber. And so you want to get those.
Thank you, Jane.
You want to get those just few little tools that you're going to need. But other than that, I mean, you don't need any kind of a different glass cutter, any kind of running plier, nothing like that. You need a good set of pliers to cut the lead with, and you need a vise that you can attach to your table so that you can just boom, 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 just tug it. Don't pull on it, because I promise you, Noah, you will pick yourself up off the ground, my friend. Just hope there's nobody there to watch you when you do that.
Yeah, that's what usually happens to
Been there, done that. So anyway, I think the lead nippers and a lead vise, really the only thing I can think of that you would need. And you're going to
horseshoe nails or some nails.
Yeah, you'll just need some 1 1/4 nails with heads on them. And then you want our glazing recipe, or our putty recipe, is on our website as well, Noah. And you can make that in a small amount. So give it a shot. And you definitely want to putty your window, because you don't want your glass rattling around. You want it strong, rigid, and waterproof.
Yeah.
Definitely want it waterproof.
Yes. Yes. Definitely. So, Jane says, I use a drill to scratch my lead. Just have a mark it so you don't have to do too much.
To stretch your lead? Use a drill to stretch your lead?
Use a drill to stretch your lead.
We'll probably just put it in there and just pull it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Spell check gave you a scratch.
A scratch. I was in my mind. I had something.
Well, every now and then my lead itches
Stretch,
too, so I have to get it.
Spell check will mess you up in a minute.
Won't it? And spell check messes me up all the time.
Yeah. Me too. Get myself in trouble.
Waka, 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 waka.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a beautiful. I hope everybody had a beautiful Labor Day weekend. We, sometimes we'll do hot dogs and hamburgers and stuff like that. And today we opted not to do that. We actually had blueberry waffles for breakfast. Darn it, that was
Instead of hot dogs.
Instead of hot dogs and hamburgers. That's all we get.
That's all you get. You forget that hot dog you ate today.
Oh, I did eat a hot dog. That was at 3:30. That doesn't even count. That's so y'all didn't have to listen to my belly growling today.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
You just didn't want them to know, right?
Yeah. So,
he's been so good. He's been so good. He hasn't been eating hot dogs, but today we ate a hot dog. When you are puttying the window, should you see putty coming out from the other side when you flip it over?
It's okay if it does. Good. You better believe it. Yeah, it's kind of like caulking something and caulking a window and setting the window in it. If that caulking oozes out just a little bit, guess what? It's sealed correctly. So once that putty oozes out on the other side, Joey, you got your window flipped over, just keep on puttying.
Yep, it's good.
Yeah, keep on puttying. That's good. We like putty. We like puttying.
Yep. That is a good question.
Yeah, I would feel bad if my putty didn't come out on the other side, because that would tell me that I didn't get enough putty on the first side.
Yeah, it's got to work its way.
It should ooze
out.
out.
Yeah,
it should ooze.
Because that's what's going to keep it from.
And you can always add just a quarter of or a couple capfuls of lacquer thinner, just to get that putty a little bit thinner. If you think it's too thick, it's okay, because it's going to dry out. You can believe that.
And that's another thing you have to keep covered. Don't leave your putty open. Keep it covered.
Oh no, it'll be ruined by the next morning.
It'll evaporate real quick.
Yeah. It's designed with the lacquer thinner to evaporate quick to help you in the glazing process. so that you don't have to wait on the putty to dry because all the linseed oil and stuff in it. And you don't have to add plaster of Paris, which used to dry up the putty. So this cements the window all by itself. All the lacquer thinner has
Now-
to do is evaporate.
Yeah, but we have used plaster of Paris before
In the past, yeah.
in the past.
But it makes such a mess. It's so
It makes
dusty.
a mess. It's so dusty in the studio. We also used to use sawdust
And sawdust works really good.
on the very last of the window after it's been
And
cleaned
sawdust,
and everything. It just shines it up
oh,
beautifully.
sawdust just shines the lead and the glass like nobody's business.
So if you have a place you could work with it outside and polish them up right before you put them on the truck.
Yeah, and head on out. That's what we like to do. We'll get them puttied. So I just take, like right now, I haven't had to build any frames because I've been buying the wood already made. So I don't have any sawdust, but we do have a lumber mill right behind us.
Yeah, right down the street. Okay, so do we have any more questions?
Yeah, so if we have any newcomers to the channel tonight, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
Yeah.
And also check in and ring that bell, because that's just a little something that tells you when we're having our next video. And you know what? True to be, every Monday night at 7 o'clock, it's Barb and I right here on the ARTyRV channel.
And then Wednesday night we do behind the scenes videos,
What's
new
going on?
videos, what's going on. So 2 times a week, Mondays and Wednesdays now.
Yeah, so we're excited about that. And it seems to be easier. Even though we've got a lot going on, the making the video for Wednesday seems to be working out okay, right, Barb?
Yeah, it's working out better.
That's
Mhm.
good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
So this has been an awesome. We got any more questions? How's everybody doing?
I don't know. Let's
Anybody
see.
got any
I think
shows
so.
coming up? I know with the whole United States being red, with very few states being yellow or even
Okay.
close to it.
Joey I'm sorry.
go ahead,
I
no,
didn't want
we're
to
good.
interrupt.
Please, I'm sorry. What's Joey got going on?
When windows are done with putty, do you dry them out in the sun? Do you lay the windows flat, or do you stand them up?
I leave them lay flat and clean that one side and then flip it over and clean that other side and then put them up in the light, because you're going to find once you stand them up that you still need to clean it a little bit, but it's a lot easier to clean vertically than it is horizontally.
Yeah. So we put ours, what we do is we putty them, let them lay flat for a day or so after they're all cleaned up. Then we'll put them in the window and clean them again, because you can really see how dirty they are. You think you got them clean, but they're not. Do you use any dichroic glass in your projects?
We have in the past, but mainly we use our dichroic glass in our jewelry
Mm-hmm.
because shiny sells.
Yeah, dichroic glass in projects, yes.
Well, one thing
We
about
do
dichroic
somehow.
glass, though, Barb, is it's so thin, is you've got to fuse it to something else.
Yes.
Other-
Do
and-
they make it now in sheets?
I don't know if
1/8
they make
I'm not
1/8
sure.
dichroic or not. I know it's really thin. What we have is really thin, and I know Wismac makes it. And everything's a COE 90, but Wismac makes it. Uroboros is making it now. And I heard something the other day, y'all, and it just broke my heart. Kokomo in Kokomo, Indiana, Kokomo Glass, their 12-pot furnace is down,
What?
and
What does that mean?
that means that they're not running any glass right now. No sheet glass is coming out of that factory.
Oh, wow.
And what they're doing is they're trying to build single day tanks, and they've got 3 of them built already. So they're building single 500 or 1,000-pound day tanks to run their sheet glass, but they are not bringing up the 12-pot furnace. They're not going to bring it back up. I'm not sure what's going on at Kokomo, and I heard this from one of my suppliers that spends a lot of money with them, and he was in shock to hear that they weren't going to try and bring the 12-pot furnace back up or put the money in it to fix it. So it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, y'all, if you got some Kokomo glass, hang on to it.
Maybe they found a more efficient way to operate than with a 12-pot furnace.
Well, maybe the day tanks, yeah.
Maybe they're trying to figure it out as we sit here trying to figure it out as well.
Yeah, God bless you guys. I know you'll get it figured out. That's what you engineers and all you glass people in Kokomo do.
We got to keep our glass manufacturers
keep
here
them in
in
business,
the US.
You know, we lost Spectrum, but we're back in Oceanside. Bullseye's hanging in there, and it's been tough for you guys. We know it. You know, with everything, all the new EPA laws and everything. I know it's been tough on y'all, and thank you for hanging in there. And we're not the only ones that buy your glass. Everybody in this country loves it. So
okay, Jane said that there's a new owner there in the last few years as well, so that may have something to do with it.
okay.
Renee, how can you send a photo of the machine? You can send it to
Send it to me, I guess.
Ed, that's ED, Ed at ConwayGlass.com. ConwayGlass.com. Ed at ConwayGlass.com. Congo, 456 Congo wants to know, what is the easiest way to measure the thickness of glass so I can buy the right size cane? There's only two.
Everything is pretty much 1/8 of an inch thick except your textured glasses. If you're going to buy cane, just buy what's called the number 2, or it's called the high heart lead. Just buy that. You don't want a bunch of different widths of hearts of lead on your shelf. You want to buy the number 2 lead and then just buy whatever widths you feel like working with. The Brookgreen project is all 3/16 lead. It's very tiny and narrow, along with some larger pieces of lead. We're using 3/8 lead in these windows. We're also using 1/4 inch lead. So, but get the high heart lead. It's not what size lead you want to use according to your glass, but the high heart lead is going to allow you to use any glass you want. And that's what you want to do.
Okay, so the profile of the lead does not reflect on what the thickness of the glass is.
The heart.
It's the heart of the
lead.
lead. So if you're confused about the profile thicknesses, that doesn't have anything to do with the thickness of the glass. So your lead accepts 1/8 inch glass, except the high heart will
take up to 3/16.
Take up to 3/16.
If you can see this picture, your high heart lead is taller in the center, right here in the center. And that allows you to use thicker glass. So like this piece of glass here is probably exactly 1/8 of an inch thick. Okay. This piece of red flashed glass now is 5/32. You know what that is? 1/8 of an inch is 4/32. This piece of red glass is 5/32. It's a 32nd of an inch thicker. However, if you're using just the regular lead, you may not be able to get this flash glass in that heart. So use the number 2, or what's called the high heart lead, and only keep one heart style lead in your studio, but many different profiles.
Yeah.
Right. So you have, if you use your 30 seconds, and you know, in this industry, you really need to be able to read a tape measure and understand it, because it's imperative.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Oh,
She
you're
said
welcome.
thank you.
I hope I
Yeah,
answered
because
it.
that
Sometimes
is a
I
little
get
bit
carried
confusing
away.
because you look at the lead and you say, "Oh, yeah, how do I understand where you're coming from on that one." Okay, do we have any other questions? I had a question.
What was it?
Someone asked me, is being a glass artist hard? No,
I think it's as
it's
hard as you
not.
make it.
It can be hard
Sure. Well, again, y'all,
in these times.
in these times, it's really hard. And it doesn't happen between 10 and 2. I'm sorry. It just doesn't happen. Right now, it's happening for Barb and I between like 7:30 and 9 p.m. 7:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. is when it's happening for us right now.
Congo says she bought a huge roll of hobby cane and realized that she needed heavier stuff. Yeah, she probably did buy hobby cane, and that is
For the
for
outside.
the outside edge of sun catchers and that type of thing. If it was called hobby cane.
Yeah, usually hobby cane is the outside edge or a really thin 1/8 inch cane. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to work with.
And you wouldn't really build windows out of it.
No, you definitely wouldn't build windows.
Do you add coolant to a Taurus ring saw?
Oh, definitely.
I would think so.
Yeah, that ring saw.
I don't know. We don't use a ring saw, but I would think you would add water.
It's got diamonds on it. You need to keep it cool.
Yes.
Okay. So coolant, a little tiny bit of antifreeze within that water reservoir will keep those diamonds nice and cool.
Yeah, just a little bit of antifreeze.
Tiny bit, like a cap, not a cup. A cap full of antifreeze into your reservoir for your Taurus.
Antifreeze.
Antifreeze. Don't be looking up no antifreeze.
Antifreeze. Okay, yeah. Free, and it's free. It's in your garage.
It's in your garage.
Okay.
I keep looking in the camera here and seeing this window from Brookgreen in the background.
You can see it.
And those windows are absolutely going to be gorgeous. Oh, I can't wait to get them done this month.
I can't wait to get them done either. Okay, right on.
Any other questions we have for tonight?
I don't think so.
Did you hear that?
I wish we had more questions because I want to stay.
I do too. I do too. I want to stay.
Yeah,
so I don't mind you guys sending me pictures or questions, to my email address. We'll take a look at it and see what we can come up with for you.
We have hats on the Arty on Conway Glass page, ARTyRV page, if anybody wants to buy some.
Yeah.
We have hats.
I have this really nice green hat here, and then we have the coral colored hats. And so we're
anything else we got new going on?
Oh man, there's a lot going on. It's just you guys, once we get started, y'all have to hang on. That's all I can say. Because we just ordered all of our colored glass for the glass blowing studio. We've got a little over 70 pounds of glass, or a little over 35 kilos of glass coming in. All different colors.
Yes.
And then we found out that our furnace manufacturer is shutting down.
Yeah.
So now we're looking at possibly purchasing a different type of glass blowing furnace from a different manufacturer, but we hadn't decided that yet.
I don't want to. I don't know.
I don't know.
We have to make a decision. We have to crunch the numbers and see if we're going to continue to blow glass in the future, or whether that's something that we need to not do. But it's hard, what can you do? You can't get your parts for your machines. And so you have to buy a brand new machine.
Well, but you can't get your parts because you can't get people to work because nobody is working right now. and it's
Yes.
annoying.
Catwoman wants to know if we're going to demo ornament blowing. Yes, definitely.
You better believe it, because we have a lot of them, several hundreds, plural, to make between now and Christmas. So.
Do you ever use recycled glass in any projects like broken bottles? Absolutely, yes, we do. We have a video where I believe we have it on our page. I'll post it on the community page.
Yeah, we used to do it every New Year's Day.
Our good friend in Philadelphia makes all kinds of things out of beer bottles, where he blows them and makes new things out of them. He'll take a beer bottle, make a vase out of it, all kinds of crazy stuff. And that video is all about it. And
we used to have our beer bottle bash,
and y'all can look at it.
Yeah, our beer bottle bash on New Year's Day at the Glass Studio.
Yeah.
And we would take beer bottles and make different things out of them. And if you're watching tonight, Wayne, we missed doing that, buddy. But so that's Wayne Fitzgerald up at Fitz Glass in Philadelphia.
Wayne, if you're watching.
Hey, Wayne. Hey, Sharon.
You behind your back.
Hope you guys are well. And I know where you live on top of the hill, but I bet that down at the bottom of the hill, right there on the highway, probably had a lot of water in it. I hope you guys are okay and everybody's safe.
Yeah, a lot of bad weather this week. So yes, we do. I'll just post it on the community page. I can't remember where it is. I think it's on it might be under my favorites or something, but it's there somewhere.
Hey, Magali.
Hey, Magali.
Yeah, it's a holiday. No wonder you forgot. We're good.
Someone gave Catwoman a box of the tube things for ornaments, and I have no idea what to do.
If it's tubes, that's Pyrex tubing.
To make ornaments?
To make ornaments. Yeah. You can make ornaments out of it. You need a really, really hot torch.
Take a class. Where are you?
Yeah, where are you?
Where are you, Catwoman? Do you have any advice for making 3D objects with stained glass? Yes.
Make sure that you reinforce it so that it stays together. That's all you need to do. You can build anything 3D out of stained glass, but get you some either 16 or 20 gauge wire and make sure that you reinforce all that sculpture so that it doesn't come apart. Don't put all that work in it and then have it come apart on you. Put a little extra work in it and never have it come apart. That's awesome, Elizabeth. Do that.
Specifically, how do I model what I want to make? What does that mean? Is that a typo? How do I model?
Well, you can use cardboard. Use cardboard for your patterns.
Oh, yes. I see what you're asking. Yes.
Yeah, use cardboard for your patterns. You want to
put it together.
You want to cut a piece of cardboard like that. Then you want to attach another piece on the side.
Show them.
Hang on. I'm pulling it. And then, I don't know.
Maryland.
But you can use cardboard for that and then solder these pieces together. You know, anywhere you have this, you're going to have a line up the middle to solder it to. So this solders, and now you're going to end up with something, I don't know, that looks like that. Sculptures are a lot of fun to play with. And also, but you can use thin cardboard and make your models and then use your cardboard to trace onto your glass and make your patterns.
Catwoman is in Maryland. I was trying to think of any classes up there that you could take, but what you have is Pyrex tubing, and you can make ornaments out of it, but it is a process and it is a craft. The closest place I know to you is in New Jersey, South Jersey.
Actually, yeah.
Or do you know a closer place?
No, I don't know a closer place. There may be a place down towards maybe in the in the torpedo factory in Alexandria.
Oh, yeah,
There
torpedo
may
factory,
be
go
somebody
there.
that teaches Pyrex there.
Glass
But
blowing.
yeah,
It's
try.
at the bench. It's with the torch.
It's with a torch,
You
kind of
see.
like this microphone right here.
Yeah.
And it's got a big flame coming out of it, and the flame's, of course, at you, and then you're. But if you get into that, let us know, because we've got some torches for sale.
Thank
and
you,
hoses.
Okay, so Elizabeth thinks we're wonderful. Thank you, Elizabeth. You're sweet. What was that? Okay. It's some German name. I don't know. What's that mean?
The German name on the glass?
Do you need to pre-stretch pre-tinned wire?
Absolutely not.
Just started some night classes, but we went into the COVID lockdown, so I'm waiting to restart. Oh, bills. Okay, thank you from New Zealand. Thank you very much.
Hey, buddy, how are
Thank
you?
you very
Enjoying
much.
your
And we're
coffee
trying-
this morning, I hope.
We're trying to do more and trying to do better, so stick with us.
We're trying to find a world clock so we know exactly what time it is when you contact us on Monday night.
It's probably coffee time in New
Yeah, it should be.
Zealand, right?
What are you at about 9:30, 9:45 or so, Bill?
Okay. Joey found a window at a flea market, but it is very flimsy. Wait a minute. Do I have to have some steel bars welded together in a cross shape, or can I do it myself with solder and iron? You might have to redo that window.
Yeah, you might just have to recame it, because it sounds like, if it's that loose, it sounds like the solder joints have all come loose. You know, where they join each other, Joey. So if those solder joints have come loose and and they're really oxidized, just take a photograph of the window, put a piece of paper on top of it, take a rubbing, and redo it. Yeah.
Okay, it's 12:25 there.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
So lunchtime.
Okay. Magali has a question. She makes a lot of small sun catchers, and when it comes to soldering, when washing off my flux, I can see the black of the foil coming off. Am I staying too long on that area?
Yes, and your iron's just a little bit too hot, Magali, because you're heating the glue up enough that the foil's coming off. You're expanding the foil and the glue's staying on there. Just turn your iron down just a few degrees, and you are spending a little bit too much time. Move just a little bit quicker, hun, and you should be fine.
Joey said that's a copper foil window, so it may be a design issue.
Yeah,
we found copper foil windows do better in wooden frames with a deep channel. You know, a deep.
Yeah, the copper foil windows do good in a channel that's a 1/2 inch deep in a wooden frame, and
that could solve that issue.
Yeah, and if the copper foil window is that loose and moving around, there's probably a lot of tape, a lot of foil that's not on the glass. It just looks like it is. So if it's really flimsy.
Oh, Joyce said, what do we use to hang spinners on outside? She used several strands of fishing line, but it broke, and now I have to repair my spinner chain.
Well, no, and do you fish? So you want to hang your spinner on steel leader, and swivel snaps.
Yeah, there you go.
Just like if you have somebody,
people.
If you're not real familiar with fishing, just get with somebody that is and tell them you need a steel leader with a swivel snap that'll do your spinner. And if the swivel snap's going to allow it to spin, the steel leader is never going to break, and you're good to go, kid.
Yeah, it'll change things tremendously.
Beautiful piece behind us. Yeah, this is one of the 12 windows that's going in one of our national treasures, Brook Green Gardens here in South Carolina.
Okay. Hi, I'm new to stained glass. I love your channel. I notice you sometimes solder on a paper towel. Is a heat-proof surface necessary, silicone or creosote?
No,
No.
it's not.
No.
We do solder when we do copper foil onto a damp paper towel, and when we're soldering lead, usually the first time we solder it, we can't move it, so it's actually laying on top of the pattern, and we can't help that until we flip it over.
Yeah, Nancy, that's an awesome tip, wasn't it? Is that talking about the steel leader? And I know a lot of people don't know that, and they're going to freak out when they find out.
Hey, we hung Barbara's public artwork, the wisteria tree and the children's thing. We hung it with swivel snaps and steel leaders.
Go raid your tackle box. Oh, that was Joyce. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
Just a little steel leader, about 2 foot long, with a swivel snap on one end and another leader on the other, so that you can
tell
tie
anybody. That's our secret, right?
Yeah, charge. And hey, make sure you charge. Fishing equipment's expensive. That adds another $5 to that spinner. But
and why does it work?
You don't have to repair it.
So good.
That's right, hon. Say, well, you know what? If it was $2, it wouldn't work so good.
It wouldn't be so perfect. Oh my goodness.
That's good. That's a good one, Nancy. Way to go.
Was that? I don't know who asked that question, but those spinners are so popular, and every time I see them, I'm thinking to myself, Ed knows what they need. I'm glad you asked that question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question, because we were looking at spinners the other morning, and y'all, they are so beautiful. We each other don't have time to make them.
No.
We barely have enough time to do the work that we have to do. And it just keeps coming in every day.
Yeah.
So we're very fortunate, I think.
Elizabeth wants to know, what items have we found that are good sellers at Christmas time?
Well, Elizabeth, our blown glass Christmas ornaments sell like crazy.
Yeah, so we do that. But when we did stained glass,
Santa,
just manger scenes,
just the head, the beard, and the hat. That's it. Santa. Little stockings sell real well. Angels sell off the chain.
Kitty cats and doggies with Santa hats.
Cats and dogs with Santa hats. Yep.
Every whimsical thing you can think of with a Santa hat.
Stars sell real good at Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
Stars.
Crosses
sell good at Christmas time. And they don't have to be big. You know, a lot of times if you go to a fair or a show, a lot of times if all of your $20 or less items are going to sell first.
Well, crosses are nice because you can use scrap glass and you can make them real decorative with small pieces of glass and things like that.
Well, and you can do, like if you're going to do cats and dogs you can do overlays, so you don't have so many pieces of glass. You just do overlays, and you can glue their eyes on
all different colored dogs. I mean,
it doesn't matter.
What fun fun is that, right?
All different color dogs and cats, just with red Santa hats on.
Yep. Okay. Any more questions? Feel free to ask.
That was good. Those were some good questions, y'all. I'm so glad you thought of them.
And you can go to.
So don't forget to go to the website if there's a tool that you need, or if you just need the recipe for the putty, it's right there. We're going to be working on the sandblasting and glue chipping for you.
And you can sign up for the newsletter. And that's real easy to do. think there's a section where you can just check off if you're interested in getting a newsletter on stained glass. I don't know if that's effective yet or not. I was working on that, but trying to make it better for you.
Make it easier for you to access too. So, okay.
Any questions, comments?
We want to see a picture of those cats and dogs that you're doing for
Yeah.
the holidays, please.
Those would be cute. Oh, anybody go to class? Oh, Karen's not here. Karen had a class. Amber. Everybody looks like they're here. Thank you guys for showing up.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming
Joe's
out
here.
tonight. I think we're going to bug out and go get something to eat. Unless there's some more questions.
Let's see. Or law. What is the rule on using someone else's pattern and selling it? Well, you don't want to copy someone else's pattern. If you have a pattern out of a book, you don't want to put it on the photocopier and just make a copy of it and sell it as your work. But there's nothing wrong with looking at that pattern and redrawing it and making it a different size and doing it a little bit different. And
make it your own, Magali.
make it
That's
your
all.
own.
Just make it your own, hon. Just make it your own.
Just don't copy it. Just don't. Copying it, it means copying it. It means putting it on the copier and then selling it as your own work. But if you're just looking at it and you're going to draw it and you're making it your own, I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. There are no copyrights for stuff like that. And if it's in a book, usually the artist, the publisher waives his rights anyway.
2 weeks, really.
Yeah, because when they publish a book, they know that they're going to copy it, so they're really not going to. They've basically waived their rights on.
What's that?
When they publish a stained glass book.
Those are all copyrighted. All those patterns are copyrighted.
Yeah, so you look at them and you just draw them by hand and fix them. Fix them the way you want them. And you make them yours. And who wants to do somebody else's work anyway? Nobody.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want to make a copy of a pattern and then sell it to somebody.
Right.
That's another no-no. If you have a retail store, you don't want to take a book that you supposed to be selling and make copies of it and then give it to your clients.
So, oh yeah, here's page 14 and 15.
14.
This will tell you how to make that gravy I told you about.
Think about how hard that artist worked to get that book, and then you're just giving it away.
Yeah.
So yeah, be kind and be authentic and think about it. But
yeah,
nothing wrong with getting inspired by others' work.
Yeah.
Being inspired.
You can be inspired without plagiarizing.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever repair a small crack with glue?
The answer to that would be yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Especially in restoration work.
If the glass isn't missing a piece of glass, it's just a crack, you're better off to glue it back together than fooling with the structural integrity of the window. So.
Yeah. You want it to, it's cracked, you live with it. If it's got a big hole in it, then fix it. But otherwise, if it's got a little crack in it, just put a little bit of glue there and you'll be fine.
Yep.
It'll keep it from getting further damage.
And make sure you use a non-yellowing, non-mildewing silicone. Don't use any of that
tiny bit
stuff you see on television where that great big animal scares the fire out of you.
Yeah,
don't use that stuff.
Gorilla Glue, don't use Gorilla Glue.
No, because it's yellow. Okay, it turns yellow, and guess what? Now all of a sudden you got a yellow streak in your piece of glass. Use non-yellowing, non-mildewing, clear silicone. It's about $10 a tube, and it'll last you forever. And silicone, y'all, cleans up with acetone, okay?
Don't smear it.
Use a toothpick. Lift the broken glass up a little bit. Push it down. Let it sit, and then come back after the silicone gets a skin on it, and it'll ball right up any that's on the glass.
Don't try to clean it off while it's still wet.
Don't
wait
touch
until it dries, and then you can
clean it right off
the residue. That's how you do it. Very easy.
Yes, non-yellowing, non-mildewing.
Clear silicone.
Yeah. And it's usually made by GE.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie.
So do we have any more questions?
Any more questions out there for us, guys? Okay. We're
Well,
going to get back here in the morning and hit it hard, girl.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited about this week because we have so much going on and we're going to complete so much, and I'm going to get my projects out of the way, and then we're woo.
And I'm feeling better.
Yeah, and Ed's feeling better. I'm feeling better. The world is a wonderful place.
Yeah, my hip feels so much better. And thanks for all the attaboys and prayers and everything for my hip, because I feel like it's because of y'all and that really expensive shot that my hip feels really good.
And the physical therapy too.
Yeah, and the physical therapy. So if you're watching tonight, Eric, thanks for the physical therapy. See you next Monday morning.
I have just mineral oil I used to clean with, so I'll go get some acetone. Okay,
Yeah.
yes, acetone.
Mineral oil leaves a film.
Yes.
Leaves a film or a coating. It makes it even harder because it's oil. So
Lotto numbers.
So we're good.
I think we're good.
Y'all, thank you so much for a wonderful evening.
Don't forget Wednesday at 8.
Yeah. And then we'll see you back here again Monday night at 7 p.m. because I'm Ed.
And I'm Barb.
And we're the Streeters.
And thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in. And,
don't forget to write your questions down for next week.
Yeah, bring your questions next week. Oh, my golly. I hope your husband's feeling really a lot better. I know that must have been very painful both before and after. And I hope he feels better soon.
Oh, man.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming out tonight. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. Have a great week.
This will date you. What show was this?